Buddy?
What's kind of the message when you break camp? What do you say to the guys?
I express gratitude. We've had elite attendance for 9 weeks. Talking to some of the guys on our staff, friends of other places. A lot of teams, have different mix, and we don't make anything. We don't exert any pressure. I think our guys wanted to be here, so I thank them for their work, and told them to be ready for Wofford. Over the next 5 weeks, make sure they're ready for Wofford. We have to hit the ground running. We're not going to get there and ease into things. We're going to get there and start working right off the bat. So just a message of, hey, these next 5 weeks, take time for your family, take time for vacation, but make sure when we show up at Wofford, you're ready to go.
Saw Chris Westry make some plays today. I hadn't really talked to you much about him. What role, if any, do you envision for him? And did he catch your eye at all at those joint practices?
Yeah, that's exactly where joint practice. I think anytime you have a 6'4" corner, it kind of shows something to you. And I think he played well against us. And then as the year went on, just even like watching like Sunday Night Football, as he played more and more, seeing him. So when the time came, he was someone that I was highly interested in. And for me, he's one of those guys that we have a really deep secondary and a really deep cornerback room. So he's one of those guys, fighting for one of those spots. And, but he certainly brings size, certainly brings a presence in the red zone, certainly brings the ability to match up with a big receiver. And he should be a really good special teams player. And especially in our division with some of the great tight ends that we face, the ability to go out there and play man on a tight end with a hybrid, corner / safety / linebacker guy like him. And he's a corner, but I'm saying he has the size of those other positions. He's a good matchup. So anxious to see him in training camp.
Do you feel good for the offenses at this point?
I'm sorry?
Do you feel good for the offenses at this point?
Yeah, they've worked hard. They've learned a lot. Still, lots been installed. We did it once in phase 1 and phase 2. We did it again in OTAs, and then we'll do it again in training camp, and then hit the season. So it's hard to evaluate things when you don't have true pass rush, and you're not having to knock people off the ball in the run game. So there's a lot of good things that have happened, but we've got to put the pads on. We've got to practice. We've got to play a preseason game, a joint practice, and see where we are.
Considering that, what have been your impressions of Matt Rhule?
I think Matt's done a nice job. I think the way Ben kind of says this, when the ball snapped, Matt's natural instincts are usually pretty right on. Like there was a play today, he went to the left and wasn't there. He came right back to the right. You find a young guy that can scan the field like that, that's really good. The pre-snap is what's getting them a little bit, getting in the huddle, mastering the play call, getting the line of scrimmage, making a protection call, changing the cadence, shifting the motion. It's just different, right? I think if you polled the guys on our offense that are under the age of like 26, most of them have never been in a huddle, until they get here. So it's just a different world. I think Sam, I saw Sam's press conference yesterday. I think some of you guys asked him that. I think he said it was just a different world. And so, but I think the arrow's definitely pointed up for Matt. But it's going to take him time.
Matt, what did you make of your red zone offense today? It looked like the guys were having a lot of fun scoring touchdowns early.
Yeah, Joey McGuire is the head coach of Texas Tech, really good friend of mine, worked for me, and I went out and watched them practice, and they did that little red zone lockout competition. I think some of the air raid guys used that, and so we kind of brought it back. One thing about our guys is they're highly competitive. I get yelled at more about it was a sack or it was incomplete or whatever. And so that's fun, and it's obviously a very offensive drill. We're going for it on fourth down most of the time because there's no kicker today. There's no pass rush. There's no tackling. But we came out of this year saying we wanted to be much better red zone defense than we were last year. We want to be a much better red zone offense, and so we're spending a lot of time down there. And I think Sam's done a nice job. PJ's done a nice job. Our receivers are getting more comfortable down there. They're extending plays better. So I think the work's starting to pay off.
I know you said a lot about Terrace's development, but we saw a lot from Rashard Higgins today. That battle between those two, how heated will that battle become in the fall?
Yeah, I don't think it's just those two. I think it'll be all the guys. I think we have a unique situation in that we have Andre here, who's probably more of just a return specialist who can play receiver, but we're really counting on him to return well for us. So I think there's guys like Shy that have to, really establish their role. C.J. Saunders has been one of the bright spots of OTAs. He's got to go out there and do it in the pads, when camp comes. Rashard's played a lot of football. He's a pro. I think as he got here and got acclimated to what we do and got his legs underneath him, he's really come on strong. So in that receiver room, there should be a lot of competition for not just spots on the roster, but also how much, for game day jersey to be active and then to play. And a lot of it will be special teams, to be quite honest with you. So We have guys like Zylstra that are good receivers and good special teams players, and so I think there's a kind of a vision for all those guys. We have to get the pads on, and we have to see what guys can do, with pads on versus competition.
Do you have any different feeling about this team leaving camp than you did maybe the previous 2 seasons?
No, I mean I just think we're a better team. I think guys have been here for 2 years now. They've really grown. At the same time, we've added some really good faces. Some really good new players. Guys like Corey Littleton, guys like Damian, guys like Matt Ioannidis, guys like Corbett. Those have been really good. We just mentioned Rashad. So those guys are really good additions, and I think the rest of our guys have really grown. So I was doing the math the other day. I think there's only like 10 guys on the roster now that were on the roster when I first took the job. So there's been a lot of shuffling of faces. Maybe it's 11. Forgive me if I'm off, but a lot of shuffling of faces, and I think a lot of those guys, I'm really pleased. I mean, there's Johnny Hecker. I mean, what a great addition to our team Johnny Hecker has been. So I think Scott did a great job in the offseason of really improving the roster for us.
What positions do you still think you'll be looking to get help at?
I think we'll always look at everything, to be quite honest with you, even if it's just upgrading, at the bottom end of that position. But I think we're always looking for D-line depth. We're always looking for that defensive end that can also play inside on third down. I think those are the kind of the main positions where we would look for somebody. But Scott's one of those guys. I mean, every day he brings up a different name, so they're always looking.
Did Sam do anything over the last 9 weeks to change your perspective on being, as you've said, open to bringing in someone from the outside? Or is that a hard call to make because you haven't been in pads?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think at every position, I mean, it's our job to try to upgrade it. I mean, it's their job to try to compete it. We'll look at everything. Sometimes I think sometimes people read things into some of the moves we make and all that. Like I just believe in competition. So if I can bring someone in that's going to compete to be the second quarterback or the first quarterback or the third, that's our job. And I believe if at every position, if you're a guy that's kind of looking to make that next step and you have really intense competition and you earn the spot, it's not just given to you, you earn it, that gives you a little bit of confidence. And so, on Sam's perspective, I think he's had a really nice OTAs. When you go back and watch him from OTAs last year to this year, it's night and day how far he's come. That's a credit to Ben and Sean, but it's really a credit to Sam. That being said, if something comes down the line that makes us better, then I know we'll look at it. And that's really true for every position. As you guys know, we brought a guy in the other day to talk to at another position. So we'll keep evaluating, probably even through training camp at every spot.
Matt, when you say take these next 5 weeks and be ready to go and walk, what specifically are you looking at with these guys? Is it keep your body right? Is it keep your nose to the playbook? Is it, or is it some of everything?
It's really be in shape. In the old days when you used to show up in full pads and practice twice a day, you got in shape during camp. You, to be quite honest with you, camp was probably a little harder because of the physical toll. Sim Muhammad was out there. We were talking about it. He was talking about what they used to do. Since they've taken the pads off in an effort to keep guys healthier, which is wonderful, you actually run a lot more. Like if you look at the GPS yardage when you don't have pads on, it's twice what you do with pads on. Because if I'm playing running back and I take the handoff, no pads on, I run 40 yards. They'll tap my hip. Pads on, I might go 3 yards. So we've become more like soccer. We've become more like in terms of watching the amount of yardage guys are running as opposed to the hitting. And so guys have to show up because injuries come from really 2 things: fatigue, and they come from large spikes. So if you spend the next 5 weeks hanging out at the beach or playing the game, then you show up and all of a sudden you're practicing for 2 hours or 90 minutes and you have 500 yards of yardage, 500 yards of load, whatever it's called. You're going to have a spike in injury and you're going to get hurt. So guys have to run. Most of our guys are strong enough. We'd love for them to keep lifting, but they have to run over the next 5 weeks so that when we get to camp, we're not dealing with a bunch of soft tissue injuries. So that's really the message there. And then to your point, a lot of guys are really good football players, but they can't play at the level they want until they know the defense and the offense inside out. We talk about level 4 mastery, which is, unconscious competence, like, knowing everything so much you don't have to think about it. And, veteran players usually are like that and young players aren't. So we're still a pretty young team. So guys have to stay in the playbook over the next couple weeks. They have to have the discipline to do that and to run to be in shape.
What do the next 5 weeks look like for you? Do you take a break? Do you?
Oh, all the coaches, personnel guys they'll take time over the next 5 weeks. To get away, get out of the building a little bit. We want to make sure everyone shows up to Wofford invigorated and excited to be there. And what we're about to do will be really hard. Hard preseason, hard at Wofford, the heat, and a long hard season. So make sure guys get out a little bit and get away from here and come back and ready to go.
Matt, what has Icky shown you guys so far, and what does he need to do to be a starting leg tackle in the NFL? What does he need to do?
And I think the next step beyond that is also to be like most rookie guys that start on the offensive line play at like a B- B level. I mean, we need him to play at like an A- level, A level. So he's not only has to fight to earn the job, but also play really well. And so again, I think for him, it's making sure he's in shape, making sure his body weight's where it needs to be, making sure that he's able to handle the rigors of camp. And then he's got to get the pads on. He's got to adjust to all the different pass rushes you're going to see, from the great players in this league. I think obviously the joint practices will be wonderful for him. Playing in preseason will be important for him. So I just think for him it's about handling the volume of day after day, working to excel, and hopefully he's right here in town, I'm sure. So hopefully he trains at a high level and then shows up there and just attacks the grind of camp.
Matt, who gets the first reps at left tackle at Wofford?
I don't know if we know that yet. It'll be Brady or him. Camp's done a good job of kind of mixing that up. I mean, we really try to do a good job of like not getting too caught up in like, hey, you're the one, you're the two. I know the players could probably get caught up in that and everyone else, but Camp does a good job during practice of mixing combinations. And I just know that Brady's one of our better players on the team, not just on the offensive line, but on the team. So, it's about finding the right spot for him, but letting those other guys compete as well. So, I don't know how we'll do that, when we get there. To be quite honest, I mean, I think it's kind of, as I've said, we get through this, we kind of go back and watch everything. Hey, where are our guys? And then show up to Wofford, and you can have a great plan, and a guy can come in the first day and say, hey, my hamstring's tight, and it changes your whole plan anyway. So we'll just let them compete it out there.
On that, are any of the injured guys from this portion going? Does it look like they're all going to be okay?
We expect everybody to be full go when we get to Wofford. I think the biggest injury has been Davion Nixon, and so he's got some work to do before now in training camp to get there. There might be a deal where he's cleared, but we are smart with him early on. But even him, I'm anticipating, as it stands right now, being ready for camp.
Is that the same ACL or something different?
No, it was it wasn't ACL that he had. It was a knee injury, but not an ACL. So it's it's one of those down the line ones that I can't explain real well. But I expect everybody's here. Sorry, guys.
Matt, remind us what Ian's injury was?
Ian got kicked. I caught a ball in the middle, and the guy kicked him, unfortunately, and so just kind of aggravated an old high ankle sprain. So at first they thought maybe it was a high ankle sprain, but then when they looked at it, it got kicked in an old one. So bothered him for a couple of days, but he came back and he was full last week. So it was just more a matter of saving him a little bit.
And Brady would still be considered for left guard spot.
Yeah, Brady's played left guard, left tackle. We had talked about playing him at center at one point, too, but we felt like his development two positions seemed like it was the right amount.
And Coach, I know the players are, you're talking about the players getting away from, all of this and the coaches taking a break as well. But are the players and the coaching staff also going to be doing any accountability holding for the players as far as getting in shape for training camp?
Yeah, we're not allowed to do anything with them, right? I mean, they have a plan. Everybody has a reporting weight. There's a conditioning test. So that they show up, we hope that they're all pros. If we have a team where we're saying, we're having to say, hey, did you run today? We're probably not a very good team. So, but we really can't have any contact with them. They're welcome to come in and use the facility, but we can't even do like a virtual meeting with them. There's a lot of rules, and deservedly so. They have time to themselves, and I think the really, really great players, the McCaffreys, those types of guys, they understand that this time away from the facility is where their greatness comes from. Greatness happens outside the building. It's what you do on your own when everyone else might be, hanging out somewhere else. You're grinding. It allows you to make a jump. And so I'm hopeful that all of our guys do that. Based upon the way they've worked this offseason, I would say that they'll do a good job.
Hey, we'll do one or two more. Brad, you alluded to your better team in this OTAs than last year and even the year before. Does that alter the way that you competition level, the talent level, excuse me, is better than it has been in years past. Does that change how you envision the 53?
Yeah, I think years ago I had dinner with Dick Vermeil, and I remember him telling me when they made their 53 cut, he was proud of the fact that he never went out and took someone else from another team. That he coached the guys he trained, and that's that's the kind of sometimes the difference between personnel and coaching staff. Coaching staff, like, we've invested 5 months in this guy. Hey, we'd like to coach him in the season. Personnel, like, hey, but this guy's a little bit better maybe. And so as your roster gets better, those conversations are less and less because it's harder to pick someone up from another team who's better than someone you have. And so to me, I think Scott, Dan, Pat, Samir, they've done a great job of just continuously adding to the roster so that, last year we picked up Michael Jordan at the 53 cut. It was a great pickup. Ended up being a really good player for us last year. And I think he'll be a really good player for us this year. So we don't, our depth has gotten better. The amount of guys we've gotten has gotten better. So even in the draft, we were very specific about, hey, we don't need a ton. Like, year before, we traded back a bunch of times, got a bunch of picks to improve the overall depth of our team. This year it was targeted, like, hey, we're going to win with our veteran players. Let's go get a guy like this. So it was much more targeted. So I say all that to say that I'm hopeful that we don't have to go out at the 53 and bring in 3-4 more guys, that we're happy with the team that we have, but also knowing that we will do whatever it takes to be better. And so that's, like I said, as the roster gets better and better, healthier, guys have been there longer and longer, you have a little bit more peace with the down the line guys, the guys that give you tremendous depth, play on special teams.
That also in terms of 3 quarterbacks as opposed to 2.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, I think even if you talk to people in the league, a lot of guys will say 2-3. Hey, it's 5/6/7 at this 8. So what we try to do is make sure we never have too few of anything. But then I'm not going to keep one more wide receiver over one more tight end if this guy's a player, this guy's here. So we try to give ourselves enough leeway that, hey, we might keep 3 quarterbacks this year. And so let's make sure that if we do that, because it's better for our team, that, we're not going to hurt another position, but be smart. So we want to keep the 53 best players, but also make sure we have enough at each position. Obviously, the updated practice squad rules make it a little bit easier with elevations and things that you could do now you couldn't do before. We have some really good young players that will probably make the practice squad, and by the end of the season be able to help us if needed.
This is the last tomorrow, when you guys get together today tomorrow, what the quarterback situation looks like, what would you tell them?
I thought that Sam's gotten a lot better. He's really improving in the offense. And if we played today, Sam would be our quarterback. Sam's job is to take the next 5 weeks, make sure he shows up at Wofford better then than he is right now. He said to me yesterday how good he feels, footwork-wise, in the offense. He's got to improve, get the training camp improved, and he's got to do it with the pads on, and people trying to knock you down. You look at the quarterbacking world, from high school through college now, it's so much 7-on-7. A lot of guys can throw. It's what you do when people are trying to chase you down. And so those are his steps. And he knows that. I know that. Ben knows that. That's our job as coaches. Our job is not to think, hey, we need to go get this and that. That's Scott's job. Our job is to get Sam as ready as possible. And at any position, if we can make a significant improvement, we absolutely should. But we can also make a lot of improvements by our guys, playing better this year than they have in the past. And I like where he's headed. Thanks, everybody.
Go ahead and start with questions.
You're your first OTAs. You graduate the summer vacation. How do you feel?
I feel good. This process is just beginning, and I know it's going to ramp up a little bit during training camp. And right now, just don't take a day off mentally from the playbook.
What has been the biggest adjustment between maybe what you've done in the past?
Really just the details within the play. I mean, there's checks in every play, and just understanding what everybody has in the snap of a finger when it's called. That's just the biggest adjustment because you're telling every single person what to do. So, I mean, it's just much more detailed.
Matt, how do you adjust to that on your own time? Do you say it out loud in front of
Yeah, I mean, there's various ways to do it. There's like steps to just say the play alone and then actually know what it means and just understanding the verbiage from the beginning to the end. And then once you get you get abundance of plays that you understand, then you can start piecing everything together because, there's a method to the madness that Coach McAdoo always says, and, trying to keep it simple in your head, but at the same time, taking care of every detail that you need to take care of.
Matt, what do the next 5 weeks look like for you?
Like I said, just training and, not taking a day off mentally. And I think the mentally is the biggest part, just because it's all about knowing it and knowing what's going on out there.
What have you learned from Sam this time, from OTAs to now?
Just picking up on his habits, the way he goes about himself, the way he carries himself from media, on the field, off the field, certain situations, and me just, taking stuff from him, whatever it is, and trying to implement it into my game. If I feel like it doesn't fit, then I won't use it, but, there is some things that I take away from him.
I assume you want to be a starter. What do you think are the biggest things for you to get to that type of level?
It's just understanding the playbook. I mean, that's all it's going to come down to. Winning and losing a game is all about who makes some less mistakes. So it's just knowing your job inside and out.
Where did you make the biggest jump over the last 9 weeks or so?
Honestly, it was just learning the playbook. I mean, understanding the verbiage and making it process quicker when it's said. And like I said, that was just the biggest thing. When he calls a play and you can't picture it, that's a problem as soon as you get up to the play because now you just don't know what's going on. And then you feel behind, and then now you get, it's just a bad deal. So, like, when it's called, you got to be able to picture the play, take a deep breath, and then go execute.
Do you have any interesting stories over the last 9 weeks when you
yes.
studying it? Like,
Yeah.
You take it.
Yeah, I mean,
Take it on the plane.
Yeah, I mean, there's been multiple instances where I had to travel, and I took everything, the playbook with me, a whiteboard, everything, because I got to get my job done, and it's been a grind. It's been a grind for sure.
How close do you think you are to being ready to compete for the starting job once training camp starts? Because Matt said right now you have to look at anybody ready to compete.
Yeah, right now it's just, like I said, when I know it, then I'll be ready to compete. But as far as, whenever Coach Mack feels I'm ready, then I'm ready.
You feel like physically you were there already?
It's mentally. Yeah, it's all mental, and that's the biggest part at this level.
Is that kind of reassuring to know when you look around and say, you've got the physical tools and have that?
No,
confidence?
because at the same time you're still not there. I mean, I'm a very competitive person, and not knowing a play is just not being physically gifted. It's equal to me.
With being very competitive, do you put a lot of pressure on yourself? Are you a perfectionist? How does that work?
You got to have a fine line. You could be here and grind it out for as long, like a reasonable hour, about 7:30, 8. And, when you're done here, you go home and you got to separate the two. That's something that I picked up quick on. You got to separate your job from your family life. And, it's been a tough thing for me since college. I've always took everything from football to my social life, and it's just been one big mesh. And now you can't do that. Not a single person is capable of being able to just mesh your life together like that, because that's just not how it works.
Off the field, how have you been adjusting to Charlotte? Like you said, doing that compartmentalizing. What are some of the things that you've done to feel more?
Just being around the players more. Being around the guys, not sitting in your room studying all day, because this the way our schedule was. We only got a weekend off, and even then on the weekend you're not trying to do anything because of what we got coming up or what we did that past week. And again, it's just all about being mentally prepared for whatever play they call.
Did you stay in the hotel the whole time?
Yeah, I'm still in the hotel.
You at some point going to try to find something?
Yeah, I found a spot. So hopefully before my training camp's over, I'll be already moved in.
And what's the summer look like? Do you go back to Cali? Or?
Yeah, I'll be back. Well, no, I'll be back in Florida training with a couple guys out there, and then I'll probably head back to Cali at the end just to see my family.
Will you make an effort to try and get together with the other receivers or do something?
Yeah, definitely. I'll probably making an effort, but it's not going to be end all be all. I know that those guys are going to take care of themselves and be a pro as well.
Matt, how did it feel throwing some touchdowns today inside Bank of America Stadium compared to Generic Practice Field?
See, in my mind, I didn't really, do anything yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is a touchdown, but that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I get paid to do. So, it's just on to the next play because I think that was my first touchdown. So it's like, I'm just steady climbing the ladder.
How do you think you performed today in those sessions?
It was cleaner. It was cleaner in my head. I understood what was called, and again, that's just the work's never done. You can always be better in certain areas, and for me, it's just processing it quicker. Like, I don't want to be thinking about it when I snap the ball. Today I was.
Matt, how can you simulate that play call to process, to relay, to
For me,
the next 5 weeks?
Yeah, for me personally, it's someone giving me the play call, and then I'll give my calls. I'll think of my checks. I'll say them out loud, and then I'll go through my progression. And then it's much more than just looking at 1 to 2 to 3. You're looking at defenders and trying to anticipate a window, and then you get into your check down. So, I mean, every play is different. You got to treat every play independent of another. So, like I said, you can never be too prepared. It's a lot. So you just got to keep on chopping.
Matt, how would you treat your ability to go off script or go off schedule, like if you're scrambling outside, trying to make something happen out of nothing? Is that something you see as an asset or just a continued growth aspect?
I definitely feel like it's an asset, but then again, it is definitely something that I can grow on. I definitely feel like there's growth in my game everywhere. There's definitely room to improve in every aspect, and that's what I plan on doing.
Hey, man, just curious to know about your background. Do you have any Hispanic or Mexican heritage in your family? You can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I do. I am Mexican and Italian, mostly Mexican though. I don't talk to my dad's side at all, so I don't really know him. But my mom's side, yeah, my grandma, she speaks Spanish. I wish I could. I understand a little bit, but my brothers do a little bit. My oldest brother is fluent. But yeah, definitely.
Do you know if your grandma she was born in Mexico or has links?
Her mom was. Yeah, my great grandma was born in Mexico, so I don't know what part. But yeah.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Thank you guys. Have a good weekend. Appreciate it.
What's good with y'all? Y'all can hear me good?
Yes, sir. How was your first OTAs and mini camps? And some of the guys we talked to, Taylor and Brady, said you're already playing violent.
Oh yeah, the violence is never going to leave me ever. But yeah, it's been great. New experience for me, so definitely exciting on the aspect of it. Being able to kind of get around the rest of the the veterans and the rest of the guys and kind of learn from them a little bit has been great too. So overall, definitely been a good experience for me.
The guys always say that the speed's the biggest difference. What's the biggest difference for you? I don't know if you've been able to see the speed in OTAs and minicamp yet.
I thought it's pretty accurate. The speed, just the processing speed more than anything. Like, running plays, like, the plays are similar, obviously, but how fast the defender is able to read plays and kind of react, that's, an adjustment from the college to the NFL. They process things a lot quicker, so in turn, you got to make sure that you know your assignment and that you get to your spot that much quicker.
How much have you been able to get the adjustment period with the complexity of the pass rush moves that you'll see? Obviously, you're only facing your own guys, but how much is that and being able to simulate during this period of time?
Yeah, I've seen a lot. We got a variety of different types of defensive linemen on this team, so that's something that I'm fortunate for because I get to work against a lot of different types of people, a lot of different types of guys, types of players. So, I've seen a lot of variety of moves. So I'm glad to be able to go against each and every one.
How will seeing Brian Burns help you when you guys have to shot the pads on?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Brian, man, obviously every time you get to go against, Pro Bowl talent, it's only going to make you that much better. So obviously, Brian has helped me a lot, kind of getting used to, like you said, speed of the game, getting used to his get off. It's only so many people on this planet that gotta burst like Brian. So going up against him each and every day is making me that much better.
What are some of the other things you've learned from some veteran offensive linemen during this process?
One of the biggest things they kind of taught me was take care of my body. Obviously, that's something that a lot of people say, but actually hearing like a first-hand accounts of like, yeah, this is how I felt my rookie year, this is how I feel now, and this is why. It's great to kind of hear that first-hand account of that. A lot of guys have specialists that they actually bring in from other states just because they're comfortable with a specialist, and that just kind of goes into taking care of your body. One of the things that they say a lot is like your body is your business in this league, so making sure that you stay as fresh as you can, as mobile as you can is definitely key. Something that I've gotten from some of the veterans.
Take us through your route running on your touchdown catch.
Route running, I just doing my job. Had to reach a little bit, reach block the guy, kind of like make him think I was just blocking him, and then last second kind of release for a route. I knew Sam was going to put it on the money, so I just had to catch it, and I'm glad I was able to do my job.
Did you catch any passes at State?
So we had a play at State for me. The one time we ran it, it was a different look. I will admit it was a different look than what we practiced. I wanted to get in tackle. So I did catch it, though, but, yeah, I didn't score. So that's something that haunts me to this day, so I'm going to make sure I score now that I'm in the league.
You had a good game that game, I think.
That was the Liberty game. That game came down to the wire. It's a decent game, great game on both sides. Really wish I could have got that 2-point conversion, though, sure.
You've got this one on tape now to kind of like bang the table for the regular season.
Oh, yeah. See, now that I showed him I can caught it, this is actually the second time I caught it. So now that I kind of, showed him that I can catch the ball, hopefully, we run something like that during the season.
Is your goal to start at left tackle?
100%. I really, wherever coach wants, feels we can win, I'll play. I've said that's just the very beginning. But I've been working a lot of left tackle. Honestly, be great. To be able to start there. Obviously, that's what I'm here for. I'm competing each and every day to earn that starting spot.
What do the next 5 weeks look like for you? Are you staying in Charlotte? I know you talked about taking care of your body. Any plans?
Be a little bit of time in Charlotte, a little bit of time training elsewhere. But yeah, I'll just be doing everything I can to kind of shorten that gap a little bit. I didn't really have a standard offseason compared to some of the other veterans. So this is a good time for me and some of the other rookies to kind of close that gap a little bit conditioning-wise. So we'll be here for the next couple of weeks, and then I'll be away a little bit.
We saw Taylor working with you on the field the last couple of days in more of a coaching role. How big of a help has he been for you personally?
He's been great. Like I said, every time you get to work with veterans, guys that have been in this league and done it at the highest level, it's only going to make you better. So all the input, all the helping points I can get from some of those guys, especially Timo, is big for me.
What are some of those things that he's been teaching you on the field? I know I saw him doing some stuff with your drop back and whatnot. So
like pass setting for me, just making sure like I keep my technique sound, toe in the ground, all that stuff. Some like the basic fundamentals of how Coach Campton wants offensive linemen to pass set. He's been kind of helping me, hone that in a little bit, making sure that every time I do the drill, it's 100%. Every time I'm doing the drill, I'm focused on that technique part of it, so that it translates onto the field. So that's something he's been helping me out with.
Go ahead.
What have the other players told you about Spartanburg and what to prepare for?
Well, they said it's hot. That's always the first thing they always say. It's hot. I actually been in Spartanburg. I went to a basketball camp there, so a little bit different, but got a little bit of a taste of that summer heat. So I know it's going to be hot. I know it's going to be a grind, but it's something I'm looking forward to.
What did you do at that summer camp? How well did you play?
Man, I averaged a double-double, like 10 and 10. It was a JV tournament though, so I can't say too much. But no, yeah, we had a good squad, especially my sophomore year. I think we won like the whole tournament that year. So
Was that Wofford or Upstate?
it was Wofford. Yeah, Wofford.
Like the best offensive line basketball player. Y'all had any competitions there yet?
Shoot, I know Cam said he was the best. Cam said he was playing basketball throughout. I think he said high school and all that. But I chose to wrestle in high school. I couldn't play basketball, so therefore because I had to make that choice, I feel like probably pound for pound one of the best athletes. But I mean that's something that we're gonna have to talk about.
What has Campen or anyone else told you about kind of left tackle versus left guard your rookie year?
Well, right now I've been working just left tackle. I feel like that's kind of where Coach Campus sees me. But I mean I've been able to kind of bump inside at any point in my career. So I feel like if he needs me to play right side, needs me to bump inside, I'll be able to do it.
We all good? All right, thanks, man.
Appreciate y'all.
One quick question. Have you looked at the schedule and seen the fact that if you're left tackle, you got Myles Garrett and then TJ Watt, 1-2. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, it's something I'm excited for. Like I said, anytime you get to go against the best of the best, it only makes you better. It only shows you like what you are as a player. So going up against the best of the best in this league, first 2 games is going to be a big test for me. Something I'm excited for, and something that I feel like I'll be ready for.
Terrence, the other day, Christian said that you had taken a massive leap from year 1 to year 2. Has there been a change in your routine? Would you say that you've taken a massive leap from last year to this year?
Yeah, I would say I'm a little bit more comfortable, just with this off season. I had time to grasp from last season and learn from all of the mistakes and everything that I got to learn from last season and apply it to this year. So I feel like I've taken a big leap and I'm ready to move forward.
Any specific areas where you've seen improvement?
Just coming in and out of my breaks, understanding info when it's given to me, quickly, just doing everything better overall, just being more aware of, what's going on the field. And I just feel like I'm ready.
Terrence, how much of last year and not making the impact you had hoped for was health related?
Not much, just a little bit, had my knick-knack injuries, concussion, I went through, but for the most part, I was healthy, and I'm looking forward to the season.
What do you make of the offense so far? What's the biggest changes, I guess, for you and the receivers in this offense?
As far as changes, not too many changes. Just, coach. I feel like coaches don't put us in a position, to make plays, and my job is to take care of my job. So, when the ball's in the air, I'm gonna take care of it.
A lot of the guys have said that this offense is kind of hard, or not, maybe not hard, but long to a certain extent in terms of the verbiage and stuff. So, would you say the same?
Football is football. Learning a new offense is always going to be, some trouble sometimes, but you just got, that's what studying does. That's what, that preparation come in at. So, I just been having my head down, grinding, studying the playbook, and just taking it day by day.
Was last year frustrating and all for you, just because you weren't able to get out there as much, and even during OTA last year, it seemed like you were working on the side a lot?
I kind of just took what came with it, just, played my role. Like I said, I had my head down grinding, just learned every day from the vets, DJ and Robbie, just constantly, getting a feel of the game. And now, feel like I'm in a better place.
What was like watching Jamar do what he did last year?
Man, proud of my brother, man. That's my bro, and I'm wishing him much success this season as well as last season. Just great to see, him and Justin Jefferson, Jettas, out there doing their thing, man, and I'm just looking forward to coming behind them, being successful like them.
You kind of think this year would be your chance to kind of step out like that?
Yes, sir. Just going out there looking forward to take advantage of the opportunities that's given.
Do you work out with Jamar at all in the off season, or what?
Most off, I'm just one-on-one with me and my trainer. I don't really work in groups like that, so yes, sir.
Any more questions?
How do you approach the next 5 weeks during this break before training camp?
Man, just doing everything with intent. Standing in my playbook. Standing in the film room, and just working on my technique, polishing things up I need to polish on, and get ready for camp, get ready for the season.
Matt said in this offense, there's a lot of interchangeable parts. You're not necessarily the slot guy and the slot guy 100% of the time. Do you think that's advantageous to you or the group as a whole?
It's always good when you got all your receivers that can play every position. That just means everybody's versatile and you can't be figured out. So just looking forward to what this offense is going to bring and the identity that we have.
And you've shown what you can do in the offense through OTAs and minicamp, of course without pads. So how excited are you to show what you can do with the pads on and real contact against DBs, pressing on you and things?
Really excited, man. It's just a matter of time for the world to see what I can do. Right now I just got my head down grinding, taking it day by day, waiting on my turn.
Do you always hoop in Dior's?
Sometimes I just, whatever I put on my feet, I go out there and hoop, man.
All right, thanks, Terrence.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Terrence.